What you did was you had an imprint of that person in, flesh and blood in real life, which is, by the way, how the brain was evolved. Our brains are more or less the same size and shape. There's slight physiological differences, but trivial for what we're talking about here, as they were 250,000 years ago in the middle Pleistocene.
Mm-hmm.
And during that period, all human beings lived in bands of 30 to 50 individuals who were kin-based and hierarchically related. And that meant that the relationship they had with each other was absolutely paramount, and our brains are wired for in-person relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons that you get oxytocin when you look at somebody in the eyes. You and I have a better conversation when we have this bonding hormone that's actually going through our brains when we're looking at each other in real life. You don't get it through Zoom screens. There's a lot of research on this at this point. You get different kind of experience when you have the in real life experience. And so one of the things that I do when I'm talking to couples, and my wife and I, we do work, we'll do these marriage retreats, for example. One of the things that we'll do with couples, we'll say, okay, before you go to sleep, you need to stare into each other's eyes. Before you go to sleep, you're lying on the bed, on your sides, looking at each other, stare each other in the eyes for 5 minutes. That's it. That's the prescription, because you want to establish this thing that probably they haven't had for a really, really long time, and that your brain actually needs, so that your brain registers, that's my person. You can't get it any other way.